spy with my little eye all my little loves out there. Good morning, loves. Good morning. Hello, my amazing kiddos and parents and families. Hello, hello. As you can see, Christina, Bunny, and I are dressed up in our fairy tale costumes today. We are fairy tale godmothers. Boop! We wish all the love in the world for each and every one of you. Boop! So today I hope, and Christina Bunny hopes, that you're dressed up too in your favorite fairy tale costume. And whenever you watch this today, whatever, as many times as you want, dress up in your favorite fairy tale costume like we are. Absolutely. And you know what? Today also, if you would like, and your parents would like to share the pictures of you dressed up watching story time in your favorite fairy tale costume, we want to see you in your fairy tale costume. We want to know what fairy tale character you are, my loves, today. All right, let's get started. I'm so excited for today. Oh my goodness. Now, our fairy tale today, there are so many amazing fairy tales, right, Christina? And tomorrow after story time, Miss Nell, always on Wednesdays after story time, we share our wonderful picture book recommendations with everyone that you can pick up at Curbside Pickup, the Grab and Go service. So check those out with your parents and see which ones you want to order. They're awesome. So today we have Snow White and the 77 Dwarfs. What? How can one Snow White help 77 dwarfs? Because she's amazing. She's amazing. Yes, she is, just like all of you. She's amazing. She can do anything she puts her mind to. So today, now we all know the story of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, right? Now this is one of Miss Nell's favorite different fairy tales, Snow White and the 77 Dwarfs. And it is super funny. I love this author and illustrator. They're amazing. And the Snow White and 77 Dwarfs today we'll be reading is written by Davide Cali. And it's illustrated. All the wonderful pictures you're going to see, like the cover you see right here. Aren't they beautiful and vibrant colors? Is by Raphaelle Barbanegre. So these are fantastic. It's so cool. So let's dive in. But you know what? Miss Nell wants to show you the jacket cover of this. We have this book in our library, and I absolutely love it. So we're going to check out the 77 Dwarfs. Christine, you want to check out some of the names of the 77 Dwarfs? Now, on the jacket cover, you're going to see some of these amazing names of all 77 dwarfs. Oh, my goodness. So before we start our story, we're going to read a few of them. Can you see these? What? Let me see. We get a close-up shot of these guys. What? These are all the 77 dwarfs. Let's read some of the funny names for the 77 dwarfs. Let's see. You got Rufus. You got Chicory. You got Kerfuffle. Kerfuffle's a great name. I love that name. Pootie. Popsicle. Donut. Oak. Oh, I like this one. Panache. You have good panache. What? Oh, let's see. Alfalfa reminds me of good sprouts. Poodle. Knick-knack. Cookie. What? Rutabaga. I'm getting really hungry because most of the names of these dwarves are all about food. Let's see. Let's read. Oh, there's pumpkin in here. Wait a minute. There's blurp. Oh my goodness, there's porridge, there's Borel. What? So you get to have some fun reading the names of all these amazing 77 dwarfs today. So let's take us off to fairyland. Ooh, hocus pocus, abracadabra. Boop! We're going to go to fairyland today with Snow White and the 77 dwarfs. This is so much fun. Oh my goodness. Now, let's see. Again, by Davide Cali. And illustrated by Raphaelle Barbanegre. Now, all of our good fairy tales begin, right? Tuck in. Mwah. All of our good fairy tales begin with once upon a time. Can we say that together on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Once upon a time, somewhere deep, 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 deep in the woods, a girl named Snow White was running away from a terrible witch. She came across a tiny house that belonged to 77 dwarfs. The dwarfs were very, very kind. They said Snow White could stay with them if she would help them with all their chores. Oh, do you see she came across the house? And look at all those eyes in the darkness. Ooh, a little spooky. And as you can see here, along with the jacket cover inside the book, also are the names of all of our 77 dwarfs. So they all shouted their names all at once, all 77. Snow White could see right away that life with the dwarfs might be difficult because there are 77 of them. What? For starters, how is she going to learn all of their names? That's a really hard thing to learn, all 77 dwarf names. And there was a lot to do around the dwarf house. First came the laundry. Laundry for all 77 dwarfs. What? Then, of course, there was beard maintenance because the dwarfs all had wonderful beards. So she helped cut their beards and shape them. Wasn't that nice? And after that, every dwarf, all 77 dwarfs wanted a bedtime story. All dwarfs had each their very own bedtime story. So they were all 77 different bedtime stories. What? Can you imagine reading 77 different stories all at bedtime? That would take me hours, but I would do it. I would do it for you if you wanted. Early the next morning, everyone was ready for breakfast. All at the same time, of course. Oh my goodness. All 77 dwarfs wanted all different kinds of breakfast. Then there were 77 little lunches to pack. So Snow White packed all 77 little lunches, and each dwarf wanted a different lunch with a sandwich, a different sandwich, and a different juice box in each lunch box. What? Before they went off to the mines. Hey! Before Snow White could even blink, it was time for dinner. And each of the dwarfs had a special request for dinner. And one of the dwarfs shouted, "Hey, I didn't ask for onions on my hamburger." What? That's a lot. What's she's going to do? She's amazing. "Maybe some of you guys could help me," she said. After all that, she still had the dishes to wash. What? That's a lot of dishes. Oh, no. She looks pretty angry. Ooh. She's had a lot of patience. Yes, the dwarfs were kind, but they were also very, very messy. They were very messy, and they were rambunctious, and they were a little naughty, and very, very loud. The place was an absolute zoo. She's got to go. Oh, my goodness. It was all too much for Snow White. She decided to leave and take her chances with the witch. Oh, no. The witch said, "Snow White, would you like a nice poison apple, young girl?" Snow White said, "You know what? I'll take 2. What? Give her 2. Now, somewhere, deep, 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 deep in the dark woods, is a girl named Snow White. Is sleeping. She's waiting to be woken by a kiss. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, she's not. She put a sign out. "Please don't wake me up, Snow White. She needs a rest after the 77 dwarfs." And the end. What? Let's give that girl some rest. Snow White and the 77 dwarfs. How awesome was that? Now, that was different from our traditional Snow White and the 7 dwarfs, which is pretty cool because it's another telling of the Snow White and the 77 and the 7 dwarfs. See, I always said 77. So today, my loves, we shared that amazing, funny, different, cool, chill story about our fairy tale of Snow White and 7 dwarfs, but in our story today, Snow White and the 77 dwarfs. So we have a craft for you today, and it's our sensory craft. So it's going to be a sensory bin. We're going to use all our senses. We're going to smell, we're going to touch, we're going to feel all those wonderful feelings in our sensory bin. So Miss Mel's going to tell you, we have our link up top, our awesome craft link up top. Now, when you and your parents click on that link today, or whenever you watch Storytime, you click on that link. Oh, Christina can't wait. She had so much fun when we made this. When you click on that link, you're going to scroll all the way down, and you're going to scroll to the part where it says Fairy Tale Dust, Fairy Dust Sensory Bin. It's so cool. It teaches you how to make different color wonderful fairy dust with salt and some food dye, which we did a few days ago, and we had so much fun with it. So much fun. Now you can take a box lid with sides, of course, to use this if you have that at home. You can also take any bin. You can take a clear plastic dish or a clear glass dish so you can really see the sensory bin. But Miss Mel had this bin, and I used this with the sides up a little bit more, this plastic bin. I have this, and you can use all the things you have around your house. So if you have salt, if you have food dye, you can use whatever color you like. We used a little red, like the instructions said, and we made our pink sand. So we mix that all together. So at the bottom, we're going to show you this. Miss Mel's going to push down our sand. At the bottom, now in our instructions in our link today, it shows you to use gold foil. Now, you know, not everybody's going to have gold foil around their house, and that's okay. So what Miss Mel did is I used what I had. I used a piece of poster board, or you can use a piece of cardstock, or if you have regular paper, right, Christina, you can put that, measure that regular paper out to a back of a cereal box. And you can glue that paper on the back of the cereal box to give it a little weight. And then what you want to do on your paper is I made rainbow colors. Can you see those rainbow colors? I took all kinds of markers and I squiggled. You could use crayons and squiggle. Make as many colors as you like, because you're going to see those colors underneath the sand when you draw on this. And it's so super cool. Now in the sensory bin, in our instructions, it also gives you a way to put in different things. So in the sensory bin too, you could put in fairy wands, you could put in your princess rings, you could put in your princess necklaces, and make a cool sensory bin of all those different textures. So that's really cool. So what we did was we put our, after we did this with our paper and all our squiggles, Miss Mel and Christina Bunny put some tape on the back of our paper, right, Christina? And then we made sure to tape it all the way to the bottom so it would stick to the bottom as we used or put our sand on top. Or your sand, or you can use your salt, like it says in the instructions. Now Christina's going to help me with our camera today so all of you can see this at home. So can you see our sensory bin? This is so cool. So when you have your sand in here, or your salt, which we took our salt, and we colored it a different color, you want to cover the whole rainbow paper. Now you can take, it also recommends you take a paintbrush, but you can also use your fingers so you can really feel the sand. So we're going to do this today. Miss Mel loves drawing ABCs in our sand. So we're going to do what starts our ABCs. Can we do that ABC song together? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Good job. So we reminded ourselves of the ABCs, and we're going to put the letter A, which begins the alphabet, into our sand with our finger. What? Can you see that? What? Can you see that? That is totally awesome. Now we're going to take our sand and we're going to brush our sand with our paintbrush over top. Or you could take your hand and brush it over. Now we're going to put the letter B. B for boy, for bat, for baseball. Now what comes after B? Let's do a few letters today. Letter C. And as you can see, when you're doing these letters, you see the cool rainbow color underneath your sand or your salt, your fairy dust, I should say. C. C begins the word of cat. Oh my goodness. And let's do one more. Let's do D. We're going to cover our fairy sand. And again, like Miss Mel said, you could do it with your fingertips or you can do it with your paintbrush. So we're going to do D. What? D. What? That's amazing. Good job, my kiddos. So we created our own fairy dust sensory bin today. Awesome. So Miss Mel's going to erase the sand or the fairy dust off. Or should I just go boop? So that was awesome. Now remember the instructions on how to make the fairy dust in our sensory bin, and you can draw your ABCs in them. You can draw your name in them. And you know what's really cool is when you do your ABCs, do the ABC, like for instance, for example, you can do the letter A, and then erase your fairy dust, pat your fairy dust down, right, Christina? And then what word begins with the letter A? If you can write that word in the sand as well with your parents' help. Really super cool. So that is our fairy dust sensory bin today, my loves. And enjoy and have a great time. And if you make any of these fairy dust sensory bins today, I want you to let me know and let Christina know, because it's totally awesome and it's a great craft. And like Miss Mel said, I showed you some ways and I told you some ways you can use some things around your house in case the instructions give you some other things to use. So if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the comments too, my loves. We want to hear from you. All right, you all have a great day today. Have a magical day today and every day. And tomorrow we're going to see you at 10:30 for another amazing fairy tale. It's super awesome. Our fairy tale tomorrow follows our main character with 3 pandas. It's a Chinese New Year version of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. So it's a really cool story. It's one of Miss Mel's favorites. So tune in tomorrow at 10:30, my loves, and we're going to have another special craft right after story time and some other announcements. So we'll see you then, my loves. Have a great day. Have a magical, magical day.